Tell me if this seems a little bit familiar. You hear someone talking on the internet about a new stake to earn game. How does it work, you wonder? Well, you have to buy a minimum amount of those fantasy-themed tokens that are called gold, locking them up inside of a liquidity pool for a set amount of time paired with another token in order to earn a percentage of an ROI. In DeFi, it's normally called staking, but they call it a quest. And when you get your gold back, you can spend your earnings to increase that ROI percentage you've earned so that the next time you go around the loop, you earn even more. And the more you do this, the more you make. Heck, we're going to be rich. Seems like a foolproof plan, right? Well, wait, something probably doesn't seem right. You're probably wondering, well, where does all this value come from? What determines the price of the token? What the heck is a liquidity pool, and when do these numbers just stop going up? And how many people have even earned before I have? Kind of sounds a lot like these other videos I've seen on the internet already about a greater fool theory or Ponzi schemes, right? So then you say, well, wait, never mind. It's a play to earn game, not a stake to earn game. And how does that work? Well, forget that stake to earn stuff. We're powered by NFTs. You got to buy 3 pets to play our game, and you can only play it on one account. When you've been playing with those pets, you earn our new token, and we're going to call them roses. You can spend those roses to breed your pets and make a new one. And if you breed enough pets, you can sell them to new players. And if you've got extra pets, well, you can lend them to the new people playing the game who can't afford the cost and split the difference. And those referrals earn you even more roses, letting you breed more pets, which lets you lend and then sell more pets, making even more. And there's so many people doing this right now that they can't keep up with the demand, and the price just keeps going up. We can make so much money selling these pets, renting these pets, and selling these roses. We're gonna be rich. Oh, there you go. See, now you're doing it again. I'll admit it, the pets are cute. They're fun enough to play with when I'm making some easy money. But again, when does this stop going up? What happens when something in the game breaks? Something bigger comes along, or everyone decides to stop playing? Or what happens when you breed too many of these pets and you can't sell them anymore and there's no one around left to play with them? If one of those or more of those things happen, what's going to be the value of all this that I put into those pets and those roses? Probably nothing. Or at least a lot less than what I've been paying getting in, depending on when I'm leaving. So what's the solution to this? It's not play to earn. It's not play and earn. We believe it's play and own. You play games and you own your things, and that's it. But first, before we get into the specifics, let's go through a little bit of history. At the beginning of the game industry, it was a direct-to-consumer market, either focused with an arcade or home console. And that existed for a couple of decades until the internet and online games started to take over, and we eventually saw the birth of massively multiplayer games in the late 90s, which reached a much more global scale when we saw games like Ultima Online and EverQuest taking center stage. And we saw the birth of free-to-play and social and live service-based games on computer, largely driven by social network platforms like Facebook and MySpace. And in parallel, while all this was happening, each of the generations of the traditional console industry has advanced their graphics, fidelity, and increased the cost of entry for people around the world. And mobile games expanded and took over once the free-to-play games drove the price to zero on mobile, but it allowed developers to reach billions of people around the world globally. That's why we've seen so much international growth inside of the mobile space. But in recent years, game developers have been pushed into following the same trend of gaming consoles, focusing on high fidelity, the latest device features that require players to upgrade to the latest hardware, and access to the same entertainment enjoyed in the first world countries continues to be closed off to those who can't afford multiple months of pay to cover a AAA console or phone. The developing world is being left out of entertainment, but we're going to come back to this in a moment. There's a new paradigm emerging from virtual worlds. In 2001, an economist modeled the EverQuest economy that the trading value of platinum points was worth more than the Japanese yen, and that was just from 500,000 active subscribers selling and trading items on eBay. In 2003, a gamer won a lawsuit in a Chinese court over stolen virtual goods. In 2007, Amsterdam, the red light district of Second Life, was sold for over $50,000. And in 2008, a Dutch court treated RuneScape goods that were taken in a robbery case as if they were material items, citing that these virtual goods are goods, the same under Dutch law, and so this is theft. In the same year, Eric Bethke and Aaron Hoffman's book Settlers of the New Virtual World suggested that online games defraud their players when they use terms like gold, inventory, your house, your backpack, and all the other associated nouns and verbs and phrases associated with private property. On the other hand, drafting their end-user license agreements and terms of service that deny that exact same private property. In 2011, players filed a class action lawsuit against Google after they acquired the company Slide over their game Super Poke Pets because of all the amount of time and money they'd invested inside of the game that was no longer accessible to them after being shut down. In 2014, players bound together working with developer Big Viking Games to reacquire all of the rights and player data from the game Yoville, rebranding it Yo World and keeping their online live service game alive to this day. And in 2017, a study found that up to half of the people who click buy now on a digital song, book, or film believe that they have the full rights to give it away, lend it, or sell it. So, What's the problem with play-to-earn games? In 2018, we started to see an emergence of these new play-to-earn games powered by blockchain and NFT, which has only accelerated in the last few years. And so it begs the question, well, what's the problem? It perpetuates a cycle of artificial demand and scarcity, which leads to the greater fool theory proving itself out. And while I admit this is great for growth and it works like a referral system, the reality is that it's not sustainable, especially when the players who are renting these items have no actual agency over the things that they're renting or the tokens that they're earning. Most of them are structured as a hired labor or a job, in which we only see the token prices in these types of games display high level of volatility. The players that earn their split are conditioned to only have one thing in mind: money. And they're only paid once or twice a month like a job, so it creates this perpetual cycle of sell pressure on side of the entire game economy as the breeding, crafting, selling, and the renting continue. So we believe play and own is the solution to this. It requires a game that has real depth and interesting choices that you actually enjoy playing. It requires an accessible cost of entry that enables upward mobility, and it has to provide player ownership of items, resources, and virtual currencies with a high level of utility. And if you wrap all of this inside of a player-driven economy that's managed towards sustainability over the long term and to preserve against inflation, you can create an experience that can retain players for a very long time. So how's play and own different? Well, when you build a fun and engaging game-first experience, players stick around for more than an ROI. It's like building an amusement park for all the different types of player motivations that they might have. If everyone is there just to do the same thing for the same expected ROI, everything turns up into an optimized race to the bottom. The ownership of the actual assets in the game puts a value on the time and the strategy. Players care more about their investments in the game, the community, and the relationships they've built than their sole motivation for profit. So how does it work for us in Million on Mars? Well, it's easy. Players start off as a basic scavenger or joining a settlement with an access badge given to them at a very low cost of entry. We'd love to make these free, but we have to make them have a price in order to deter against bots and automated behavior. Players, once getting established inside of the game, would work towards having a goal of sustainability, whether they're generating power in a power farm or planting crops inside of a greenhouse. And they work towards building and contributing inside of a supply chain, like it might be a coffee, metals, textiles, paper, or alcohol. They work and they acquire land and advance their skills and work towards a degree of specialization, and then they're able to reinvest and expand their production capabilities. And what happens is they stick around because they own their digital assets and they understand the value that they've invested inside of the game economy. The connections, the experience, and the fun that they're having keep them coming back day after day, not because they're there to earn money, but because they're actually having fun and they enjoy what they're playing inside of the game. We see this as a global blue ocean opportunity to what we think is the biggest opportunity since the emergence of social networks and games in the Web 2.0 era. It's a chance for us to extend this kind of gaming opportunity and ownership to the entire developing world, because while they all have cell phones, but they don't necessarily have the highest end computers or consoles, Play to Own offers a way to progress through your time and skill. We don't think that this is just an opportunity in the gaming space, but it extends into traditional finance and banking and payment systems. The ownership of these digital assets, we think, will become the cornerstone of a future financial system connecting the global world, enabling an over $1 trillion opportunity in the long term in this space. We're excited to be a part of this and make Million on Mars an opportunity that players can get in at the ground floor and can build their own empire on Mars. We believe that play to earn and play and earn both set up the wrong expectations for all players. We believe that solely playing on artificial demand cannot deliver a sustainable or scalable game economy. We believe that all players should have a path and a means to ownership, not just by relying on the items and the assets of others, and that the key to a sustainable game in this ecosystem lies with building an engaging game-first experience backed with strong resource sinks and an expectation that everyone is playing.